Tuesday, October 20th at 12 p.m. Would everybody please stand and join me in the pledge allegiance to the flag? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, Bev.
Nelson?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yes.
Donlin?
Here.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Wick?
Yes.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I'd like to welcome everybody this morning to be at our council meeting here in the chamber. And I see Dennis is here from Clem, and particularly you people that are watching over television. I want to say something about you people watching over television. We've had some complaints that you couldn't hear us. We've been working on this project for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm not sure it's fixed yet, but we're going to continue to work on it until we get it fixed. So I just want to let you know that we are aware of it, and that we are trying our best to get it fixed.
I would add, Mr. Mayor, that those people who want to see the replay on YouTube will get good audio. And it's just while you're listening here and now that they're trying to fix it. So
Yeah.
I know Greg's working on it.
We've been accused of not speaking into the
It's not bad.
microphones. So this morning I asked if we could get it fixed, and they decided it was our chairs, and they were going to tie us to the chair so that we would get up here and speak closer. So I just want to let you know we are trying. Okay, general discussion. This morning, the way we handle our general discussion is that we ask you to step to the podium and state your name and address. And we're always interested if you have any concerns or things that are on your mind that we need to discuss. And we'll take compliments too about the city, by the way. But by any virtue, the council members can't make any decisions today, but they're certainly always willing to listen to what your concerns are. So at this time, I'm going to open it up for general discussion. That didn't take long. I'll ask once again. Anybody for general discussion? Hearing none, we'll move on. Mike, how about thumbs up award? You got something?
Yes, I've got a thumbs up award that is, I have in mind the service clubs in our community that are continued to plug along throughout these past months, and it's just not the same. I'm speaking as a member of Kiwanis, but I know the Rotary and the other service clubs are all kind of moving a little more slowly, and a lot of their members are less able to attend meetings, but they're still plugging along, and a lot of good work is still being done behind the scenes. And so thumbs up to Kiwanis and all the service clubs.
Thank you, Mike. It's real true. Rex?
Yeah, I got a couple. Last meeting, I started recognizing a few different departments and caught a little flack for not recognizing the city hall employees. So the city hall employees are at the top of my food chain list today. I believe about 90% of them have been here almost as long as I've been here, which is like forever. They're always kind and courteous. When I send somebody here to get a problem resolved, they typically get it resolved. So, thumbs up to all of them. All the ones watching out front on TV, congratulations.
Thank you, Rex. It's real true. Boy, watch the production go up this afternoon after that.
My second one, Dick, is to the Plymouth County. We're voting now up at the courthouse. We've been voting for a while. I got my sticker on. I voted. Very painless, easy process. They're there every day, allowing you to vote all the way up until Election Day. And I encourage people to take advantage of that system, let's set some records for turnouts. That's my other one.
Concur 100%. We need all the voting members we can possibly get this year under the conditions of what we're under. Ken?
I'll pass today.
Steve?
I just want to piggyback off of Mike's service club recognition. I just saw the article in the paper about the Knights of Columbus
Another good.
and going over the $60,000 mark for their phone-a-thon that they had in September. I think that was a first for them, but that's been a pretty good program for a lot of years, and I think they're proud of the fact that they continue to work like they do.
Generosity is up.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's good.
Clark's on the phone, Dick.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Clark, you still there?
No, nothing today, nothing today.
Okay, I didn't mean to bypass you there, Clark.
That's all right.
Okay, moving on to the consent items. All items listed under the consent agenda be enacted by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion on those items unless a request is made prior to the time the council votes on the motion. Today we've got 7 of them. Number 1 is approval of the October 6, 2020 regular meeting minutes. Number 2 is a list of the bills for the period ending 10/16/20. Number 3 is the monthly financial statement for the September 2020. Number 4 is the Powder Players Snowmobile Club request. Number 5 is the Iowa Federal Recreation Trails program funding. Number 6 is the Hospital Board vacancy appointment. And number 7 is a request to close streets. At this time, does any council member want to pull any of these or have any comment on them at this time? Jason?
5, 6, and 7.
5, 6, and 7, okay.
5, I'm just going to, I think I wrote it in here in the write-up, but it's the 4th whereas. If you look at the resolution, it's the 4th whereas that was missing from the original resolution that was approved. So we redo it and submit it on. They do have the application. I think they've begun reviewing them. They just noticed, like I said in here, their cursory review of it. They noticed that specific wording was missing, so. Somebody order a pizza?
Hopefully we're a big one.
Clark?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Oh. So any other comments on that? That's number 5. And then there's Dustin is here from the hospital to speak towards number 6.
Okay, you want to do it now, Justin?
Yep. Thanks, Mayor Jason. The Floyd Valley Healthcare Board of Trustees met this morning in their regularly scheduled monthly meeting, and a member vacancy is open since Bill Young is resigning his open seat the end of this calendar year. And just want to be the first to thank Bill for his 13 years of service and everything he's done for the board. That's going to be large shoes to fill. Floyd Valley's been fortunate that we had a great response. We had several very qualified applicants come forward, and the trustees met this morning and nominated Kelly Flack to fill Bill Young's open position. Kelly is a registered nurse by background, and she currently works at Morningside College as a nurse instructor and practicum coordinator, and is working towards her doctorate of nurse practitionership and transformational leadership. So we're excited to have Kelly on board, and will bring a strong level of clinical experience that the board thought would help be a good addition and continue to add to the diverse background that we currently have on the board.
Okay, thank you very much, Justin, and we wish Kelly a great future.
So she will start in January, but
She-
she could attend and get her feet wet starting now.
Yeah, that's correct, Mike. And
Good.
as a reminder, this seat will come open in the general election term of 2021. So it's a one-year term, because Bill would have came up for a re-election in November.
Okay, thank you for the information, Justin, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And then number 7, Tim. and just give a brief overview of the event.
Absolutely. We are, Mike and Cheryl Wells are doing what we're calling a hometown Christmas celebration at Olson Cultural Events Center on November 28th, where it's a small town Christmas festival with a Christmas tree lighting, live music and Christmas carols from the Browns, live reindeer. We're hoping to have a Christmas tree shopping experience and all sorts of dancers and crafts, just to really bring people to downtown Lamar's. And the big tip-off of the evening is we're going to do a big Christmas tree lighting ceremony. There's going to be a large, I think it's 26 to 28 foot tree that Mike and Cheryl will flip the switch, and just like you see in all those Hallmark movies, everyone goes ooh and ah, and the whole everything. Sweet. And we're trying to see if we can get a couple to propose that, because that would really just, get the evening off. But we're requesting First Street and First Avenue around Olson to be cordoned off so we can have activities in the street, reindeer. The Browns need area for their tour bus, because they're going to be doing a lot of equipment and stuff from there. So that's the main overview of what we're looking at.
And that was, when was that again, Tim?
Saturday, November 28th.
28th, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm assuming advertising for it will go out soon.
We're gonna start promotion right after the election, because everything's gonna get drowned out before the election. So after the election, that's when the marketing blitz will take place.
Okay. And there will be a change to the motion as it's written in here. Conversations with Tim this morning. If you look at that map that was provided, that high-tech map that they put in there. Yeah, it originally, it was, in the motion, it originally was going to only go to the backside of Olson on First. Now the request will go, just like our other events, will go all the way up to 2nd Street. So that entire block of First Avenue will be closed. They still want, we still will keep the parking lot on the back side of the stage. That will be open for parking, so that will not be barricaded off, but just the two streets and the avenue.
Okay, anything else? Any other questions for Tim? Tim, thanks so much for filling us in, and we'll have a good one. Okay, any other ones? Jason, it's your
No, that's all I had.
entertain a motion.
Motion to approve consent items 1 through 7 with the note to change the street on number, can't find it. 7.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Can we have a roll call on that, Beth?
Knapp,
Yep.
Donlin,
Yes.
Goodchild,
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Wick.
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on to the action items. The first one on the action item is the Floyd Valley Audit Report. Demon and Company, LLP, will be at the council meeting to present the Lamar's Floyd Valley Healthcare Audit Report for the year ended June 30th, 2020. And I see there's several representatives here from Floyd Valley, so we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me here. This is my first time at a Lamar City Council meeting. I've been involved with Floyd Valley Hospital as a partner in a review aspect the last few years, but I took over as engagement partner this year at the retirement of Jim Hinchin, who I assume you remember from years past, so I appreciate being in front of you today.
We're glad to have you here.
Yeah, well,
I think you know what you're getting involved in.
well, I was going to say I can always shut off the mic and walk out here when technical difficulties.
Yeah, but we have a question and answer period at 3 o'clock.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Well, that's about the time I'm going to be going through the audit report, each page with Jason, a minute a page, 61 pages, so we should have plenty of time for you. But we completed our audit. As you're aware, we met with the board this morning. I appreciate the administration of the hospital as well, too, to get the information to us so we can complete our audit timely. So you guys can complete, the city can complete its audit here. So we've got our piece of it done. Wanted to just mention, if you've been on the board a long time, I assume you have, independent audit report on page 3 and 4, that's where we render our opinion. It lays out the opinion of management with board oversight, and it lays out our responsibility as auditors, and we're rendering a clean or an unmodified opinion. Obviously, if that was not the case, we would address that with you well before today. As I mentioned to the trustees this morning, with the COVID hitting here in the spring, the federal government, they didn't waste any time getting plans in place with regards to make sure that rural hospitals were taken care of, and there were a few different programs that were put in place. So if we look at page 12 of the audit report real quickly, the statements of net position, the asset side, the assets of the healthcare system increased by $14 million over the years. So total assets went from $54 million to $68 million. $14 million of that relates to different programs, provider relief, PPP, and others. Since the rules haven't really been set because the people who make the rules aren't sure when this COVID's going to end on things, that there will be some payback of funds. But as I mentioned at the Board of Trustees this morning, that the hospital's financial situation is strong enough that if funds were paid back, they'd be in a position to do that. So most of the $14 million that came in is offset in current and long-term liabilities related to this. But that is a significant jump, obviously, in assets from last year to this year. And then real quickly, page 14, where it summarized the income statement here, the revenues, expenses, and changes in that position. Even though services started to drop off late spring here, the hospital still ended up with, in my opinion, a very healthy total revenue of over $40 million. Just like your organizations that you work with, keeping the operating expenses in line with that is a challenge, but I feel like the organization did a good job in meeting those challenges. And really where we see the non-operating gains losses, the piece that was brought to income this year with regards to provider relief funds was $1.8 million. So total change in that position after restricted contributions, $900,000. And then one page I always like to spend some time with is 15. This is a statement of cash flows where we start with the beginning cash of the hospital, unwind all of the accruals to get to the ending cash to see where is cash being generated, where is cash being used. And I always like to remind most organizations that the top piece, the cash flows from operating activities, this is the most significant piece, because if your operations aren't generating cash, then you're going to need to take some reactive steps to change that, either in the form of increased services or reduced expenses. So for the year ending June 30, 2020, cash provided by operating activities is just $2.4 million. You combine that with $2.5 million of the prior years, the last 24 months, about $5 million being generated. And that's where we really kind of focus our attention to make sure that operations aren't, or the bottom line isn't being clouded by a lot of accruals and adjustments to the financial statements, and this is where it really pops out. And then the second piece on this statement here, the cash flows from non-capital financing activities. As I mentioned earlier, the $14 million of the different programs, this is where that came in to play. And then the capital and related financing, that's not unusual. That is just purchases of capital assets for the hospital. And then the investing is just the purchasing and selling of investments. So, and there's a lot of that going on because your cash and investments were well into $30-some million at the end of June 30. Not going to go down through the notes of the financial statements, but on page 41 and 42, we do talk about, these are new footnotes with regards to the advance payments, provider relief funds, as well as the PPP program at this point in time. So that kind of provides a little bit more of a narrative on those funds. And we do make the comment too that, well, the rules and the people who prepare the rules are still changing with regards to the reporting on that and the settlement of that, which we anticipate to happen next calendar year. And then one other item too is we're required to audit the foundation as well too of the hospital. So those financial statements are included as well. We start on page 17. Obviously the foundation was benefited by somebody in their will and received over $900,000. And so that's always, in my opinion, always helps any sort of foundation move on with its mission. So, but in any case, we performed our auditing procedures on that as well too. And we also provide to the board required communication letter. This once again just lays out our responsibilities, management's responsibilities, but more importantly, if we had proposed audit adjustments to fix the financial statements, or if we passed on audit adjustments for whatever reason, if we had any disagreements with management, if we had any sort of problems in completing the audit, they would be addressed in this letter as well too. So we're happy to report that. We had no such disagreements. So. In any case, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Yes, Ray.
Did you do most of your audit work virtually this year, or were you on site?
Well, that's a very good question. We fortunately were able to work on site this year. Obviously, there's a fair amount that's being done remotely with regards to shipping documents to us, but we were on site all for a full week, 2 of us this year.
I was going to say the time frame for getting it done was pretty good. You guys got it done pretty quickly.
Yeah, yep, it really did, and that helped because this was one of the few engagements that we actually were able to have people on site, so that does definitely help.
Okay, so then question 2, probably more goes to Dustin. We get $10 million in forgiveness. What are we going to do with it? Are we going to pay down debt, or are we just going to leave it in the bank?
A lot of the dollars related to the health and human services, again, haven't been clarified and how that's all.
Yeah, but I'm just saying you get 10 out of the 14, you have to pay back 4. So we get 10 million in cash when we're done. Or maybe you know, sir. I mean, do we know, we have a plan for what we're gonna do if the money is actually forgiven and we don't owe it?
Yeah, part of what we're working on with the board right now is our master facility planning. And so there's items that we're looking at in the future to potentially help fund those initiatives. In addition to that, continuing to build our cash reserves. There's a lot of unknown right now related to the COVID environment. So we're gonna make sure that we hold on to that and sustain our operations.
I would say we probably know about 5%. We're only 95% short at the current